Hello, everyone. This is Live Life Well TV host Robert Landau. We are here with another episode of America's Greatest Personalities. If you haven't seen these shows, the previous episodes of America's Greatest Personalities as of yet, do take a look at them. We think you will find them very informative and lots of fun. And if you've seen, I think about the last 4 episodes previous to this one of America's Greatest Personalities, you will know that we are in the midst of a special tribute per episode of American game show television hosts. And this one, I'm sure you've seen a number of times on TV. I sure did. And I really enjoyed every single thing he did. The one and only Chuck Woolery. So let's find out a little bit more about this very, very talented game show host right after this. Let's acknowledge the following website. It is thefamouspeople.com, and we'd like to begin with some things that Chuck Woolery was famous for saying, and is famous for saying. Here's the first one. He once said, "So let me get this straight. Government can't track illegals and out-of-date visas, but they know who you called this morning?" Chuck also said, "Being a lady is an attitude." He also said, "I kind of see my current position like this. Here's your 5 minutes in the toy store, so you got to do all the good movies you can before Chuck Woolery rings the bell." He also said this, I love this one. "A guy called me smarmy one time. I had to call him up and ask what he meant." I'm not quite sure what smarmy means either. I think I have an idea. Do you? So let's talk about Chuck's early life, his childhood to start off with. Charles Herbert Woolery was born in Ashland, Kentucky on March 16th, 1941. He completed his high school graduation and then went on to serve in the United States Navy for 2 years. He worked with Wasserstrom Wine and Import Company in Columbus, Ohio as a wine consultant back in 1963, and he also worked as a sales representative for Pillsbury Company for some time. As far as Chuck's career goes, wow, the credits are numerous and they are amazing. Chuck became a member of the folk song trio called the Bordermen and sang and played the double bass with them in the early 1960s. Bet you didn't know that one. In 1967, he formed the American psychedelic pop group called the Avantgarde with Elkin Bubba Fowler. It was called the Avantgarde. The two released 3 singles on Columbia Records during 1967 and 1968, named Yellow Beads, Naturally Stoned, and Fly With Me. Well, it was the mid to late 60s. What do you want? Although Naturally Stoned, that single, climbed to the number 40 position on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in mid-1968, the group unfortunately disbanded following the release of Fly With Me and did not release any further albums. While trying to make his mark in the music industry, Woolery supplemented his income working as a truck driver. He later endeavored as a solo artist and spawned 5 records with Columbia. Who knew? He signed with the RCA label after 1970 and came up with the single Forgive My Heart. His next single with the label was called Love Me, and it was released in 1971. 1971. It didn't make much of an impact, and that caused him to shift his focus to acting. Chuck Woolery starred as Mr. Dingle in the American half-hour children's television show entitled, oh my God, I remember this, The New Zoo Review. Now I have to think about who Mr. Dingle was, but that sounds so familiar. And it actually, oh my goodness, the New Zoo Review was on for years. I used to watch it. It ran from January 24th, 1972, all the way to 1977. That's a pretty good run for a children's TV show. In 1973, he played Mr. Thompson in the segment Love and the Cozy Comrades from the ABC aired anthology comedy television series. I remember this, Love, American Style. Do you remember that show? It was great. The following year, he appeared as Pilot Rogers in the short film Sonic Boom, and also made his first game show appearance featuring with his then wife, Joanne Flug, in an episode of the game show Tattletales. The brief summer revival version of the American radio and television music program Your Hit Parade that was brought back by CBS in 1974 and 75 featured Chuck Woolery. He starred alongside Stephen Boyd, Cheryl Ladd, and Rosie Greer in the 1975 American film The Treasure of Jamaica Reef. Moving on, he appeared in TV movie A Guide for a Married Woman in 1978. In a TV series called Sweepstakes, I remember that, in 1979. Romance Theater in 82. 227 in 89. And Scrubs in 2004. And in the films Six Pack in 82 and Cold Feet in 89. Did you know that Chuck Woolery had such a robust acting career? The guy is clearly multi-talented. While appearing in several television and film projects, Chuck resumed his singing career in the late 1970s and became a country music artist on Warner Brothers Records and later Epic Records. Two songs of his, namely Painted Lady, which was released in 77 through Warner Brothers Records, and The Greatest Love Affair, which was released in 1980 through Epic Records, charted on Hot Country Songs chart. He also co-wrote the song The Joys of Being a Woman with Dan Hoffman, that formed part of the 1971 album of Tammy Wynette's, titled We Can Sure Love Each Other, and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Country Singles chart. In the meantime, a guy by the name of Merv Griffin, who saw Woolery sing on The Tonight Show, created the American television game show Wheel of Fortune, as we addressed in another episode dedicated to Wheel of Fortune on this network, this cable YouTube channel, Live Life Well TV. But Merv created Wheel of Fortune and suggested at the time that Chuck Woolery host that show. The network version of the show that premiered on January 6, 1975 was originally hosted by Chuck and Susan Stafford. Woolery departed from the show in '81 following an alleged salary dispute with its producers and was replaced by Pat Sajak. So there you go. He later mentioned, Chuck did, in a 2007 interview that as the show was growing a 44 share during that time, he asked for a raise from $65,000 per annum to about $500,000 per annum because other hosts were also earning that much. Thank you very much. He was offered $400,000 per annum by Merv Griffin and the additional $100,000 by NBC. However, when Griffin threatened to shift the show to CBS, NBC withdrew their offer. The contract of Woolery's was not renewed, and he appeared on the show for the last time on December 25th, 1981. He then went on to make a niche as a host with different television game shows like I Remember This So Well Do You, Love Connection from 1983 to 94, Scrabble from 84 to 90, and then back again in 1993, The Big Spin in 1985, The Dating Game from 1997 to 1999, TV Land Ultimate Fan Search from 99 to 2000, Greed from 99 to 2000, Lingo from 2002 to 2007, Think Like a Cat in 2008, and talk shows including Home and Family from 96 to 98, which he co-hosted with Christina Ferrare, and his own short-lived talk show that I remember very well called The Chuck Woolery Show back in 1991. His resume is 80 pages long. Chuck Woolery also starred in the short-lived American reality TV show called Chuck Woolery, Naturally Stoned, that centered on him and his family, particularly his personal life and his work as host of Lingo. The show aired for 6 episodes on the Game Show Network between June 15th and July 27th back in 2003. Chuck hosted the staged production show The Price is Right Live at Harrah's Entertainment Casinos and featured in 250,000 Game Show Spectacular, a live stage show at the Westgate in Las Vegas until April of 2008. He hosts Save Us Chuck Woolery, a nationally syndicated radio commentary show since 2012. The show developed from a series of humorous political YouTube videos of Woolery that led him to emerge as a YouTube sensation. Check him out there. In 2014, Woolery started a long-format podcast, Blunt Force Truth, that he co-hosts with Mark Young. And aside from all of that, Chuck has also appeared as a motivational speaker over the last number of years. It's amazing. So here's a list of just some of the game shows he has hosted just before we close and we wind up this episode talking a bit about his personal life. Game shows. Chuck Woolery has hosted Shopper's Bazaar, Wheel of Fortune, Love Connection, Scrabble, The Big Spin, The Dating Game, Pyramid, Greed, Ultimate Fan Search, Lingo, The Most Outrageous Game Show Moments, Worldwide Web Games, Celebrities and Game Shows, Game Show Greatest Moments, Insider's Guide to Winning Game Show Millions, and Think Like a Cat. That sounds like 8 lifetimes of game show hosting to me. We'll conclude with Chuck's personal life, a quick look. He was married to Margaret Hayes from 1961 to 1971. Their 2 children include Catherine and Chad, among whom Chad unfortunately passed due to a motorcycle accident back in January of 1986. Chuck married American film and television actress Joanne Flug at the Knowles Memorial Chapel at Rollins College in Orlando, Florida, after he divorced Margaret Hayes, and he married Joanne on December 21st of 1972. Together they have a daughter called Melissa. Woolery's second marriage also culminated in divorce in 1980. His third marriage, Terry Nelson. Third wife, adopted daughter of American actor, director, and producer David Nelson, lasted from March 16, 1985 to June 11, 2004. Woolery has 2 sons through Terry, named Michael and Sean. Meanwhile, Woolery had to undergo a quadruple bypass heart surgery in LA on September 23rd, 1996. On July 17th, 2006, Woolery married a lady by the name of Kim Barnes. Woolery is a Christian and volunteers in ministry often. In closing, I'm sure you'll agree, what an incredible life. What an incredible life. To me, like I said, it sounds like 8 lifetimes all rolled into one. But thank you, Chuck Woolery, for bringing us so much joy, so much music, so much acting, so much game show hosting, so much happiness. Your energy is just infectious. At least I feel that way about you. And so glad you have been a vital part of the television landscape for so many years. Hope you enjoyed this look at Chuck Woolery. This has been Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host.